voice keeps on calling me down the road.
Hello, my name is Lindsay and I'm an ordinand. I have been an ordinand for the grand total of 96 hours. So what's an ordinand? Well, an ordinand is someone who's been recommended by the church to train as a member of clergy. Training normally takes 2 to 3 years, and then the ordinand is normally ordained. So it's sort of like being a member of the clergy, but not quite. It's weird and it's strange, and this was never part of my life plan. And on a few days' time I will be starting Trinity College to start the formal part of my training. This journey affects my whole family, it's not just about me. And it almost feels as if this journey isn't mine, it's not for people like me. I feel a bit of an imposter doing this. I feel ill-equipped, and I'm sure that any moment now the postman's going to bring a letter and say that my recommended for training was a huge mistake and just a huge typo. I keep asking God, why me? Why risk me? Why choose me? I'm dyslexic, I'm disorganised, I'm terrified, and I'm a muddle, and I'm just me. Why me? I've been looking through some of my old journals, and it's been really nice to look at the pictures and the words that I've written. And one of the things that I've been doing is writing out the dwelling in the words and sticking them in and scribbling round the words that mean something to me. And one of the dwellings in the words that we've done a lot in church is Luke 10.
After this, the Lord appointed 72 others, and sent them 2 by 2 ahead of him to every town and place where he was about to go. He told them, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out the workers into his harvest field. Go, I am sending you out like lambs among wolves. Do not take a purse, or bag, or sandals, and do not greet anyone on the road. When you enter a house, first say, 'Peace to this house.' If someone who promotes peace is there, your peace will rest on them. If not, it will return to you. Stay there, eating and drinking, whatever they give you, for the worker deserves his wages. Do not move around from house to house. When you enter a town and are welcomed, eat what is offered to you. Heal the sick who are there and tell them, 'The kingdom of God has come near to you.' But when you enter a town and you are not welcome, go into its streets and say, 'Even the dust of your town we wipe from our feet,' as a warning to you. Yet be sure of this, the kingdom of God has come near. I tell you, it will be more bearable on that day for Sodom than for that town."
Been reflecting on that the last few days. Jesus sends out his disciples. He wasn't afraid of what they were going to say. He trusted them, and he took risks with them. And Jesus is still willing to take risks and chances with us. And he's doing that today. He's sending us out with his good news, sending us out into our communities, into our families, into our places of work. Despite our weaknesses and our shortcomings, he is sending us, me and you, out to be ambassadors into his world. I can imagine how anxious the disciples must have felt when they heard Jesus speak to them. When he said to them, "Take nothing, nothing, no purse, no bag, no sandals." They trusted him, and they went out in weakness rather than strength. They relied on people for their food and their shelter. They relied on other people for generosity, and they were asked to take that generosity without complaint and accept what they were given. Jesus asked the disciples to go out ahead of them, and he asked them to rely on God for their survival. They had no choice, really. They had nothing else but God. They relied on other people for their kindness and love. And they couldn't buy anything they wanted. They had no purse. They had to be dependent on everybody. And they were fragile and vulnerable. And the best thing about that is that's just the way Jesus works. God's power is more evident in our weakness. We learn to approach others with curiosity and respect, humanity and grace. We are peacemakers, agents of God's love, sent out to be a blessing in this world. Jesus sends out his followers to be channels of God's peace, carriers of God's love. He risks us and asks us to be vulnerable. Jesus risks everything and asks us to be vulnerable and invites us to do the same. So my question is, how do we show our vulnerability? How do we take risks to become more Christ-like?
There's a voice keeps on calling me down the road.